we started our discussion on offenses against the person, and then one of those offenses is murder, in as much as it can also be an offense against the state. It's also against the human person. And then we talked about causation. We talked about section 314 of the criminal code that provides a time limit through which one will be held responsible to have caused the death of another within a year and a day. And then we talk about factual causation and legal causation. So most times in criminal law, sometimes it's not the act itself, but the consequences of one's action. That causal connectivity between causation, what killed the person, or is there an intervening factor that has stopped the chain or has broken the chain of causation. So we talk about factual causation and legal causation. So you already know that factual causation is for the but-for test. The but-for test talks about but for the conduct of the accused will the disease have died. If the answer is no, then of course he will be held responsible. But if the answer is yes, you all know that the accused will be held responsible for the death of the deceased. But when we move away to talk about factual causation. And factual causation, there are some elements that have come under that particular section as well. In as much as we talk about the thin score rule, we talk about the act of the victim himself, and then we talk about the act of a third party, and then there are so many other cases that we have brought in to talk about. We talk about Aaron White itself, where that particular case talked about where a son poisoned the milk of the mother, and then it was not, and then she died as a result of something different. So, but fast forward till now, we finish our discussion. We talk about section 316 of the criminal code that provides about murder, sections 1 section 1 to section 6 of that particular section 316. And then we said the first three sections are what is very related to our discussion, in as much as sections 4, 5, and 6 are very relevant, but we have not had any case in that regarding that particular sections. So it is okay for us to concentrate our discussion on subsection 1, 2, and 3. And what's that section? Subsection 1. Subsection 1 talks about the intentional killing of the victim or the causing of death of another person. In as much as you have intended to kill this particular person, but mistakenly or not mistakenly per se, and then but you have caused the death of another, you will still be held responsible as though you had killed the person because there was intention. All right. And then the second part that talks about the intention to cause grievous bodily harm on the deceased himself or to some other person. So in that instance now, you can see the intention has been there already. We look at the case of R and Nungu, of the two brothers, right? That the younger brother told the elder brother he had paid his dowry. He contributed in paying the dowry of his marriage and stuff like that. Then he got angry. He took up the hoe and hit him with the wooden half of it. And we ask ourselves this question: did he intend to kill him? Looking at the severity of the wooden haft that he used, he turned away the metal blade and did not hit him with the metal blade that would have been more severe than the wooden haft. We'll say no, he didn't intend to kill him. But looking at that particular section, the intention to cause grievous harm, it is already there. So the elder brother is held responsible for the death of the younger brother. And then the third aspect of it, doing something unlawful doing a dangerous act in a prosecution of an unlawful, doing a dangerous act in the prosecution of an unlawful purpose. For example, now, like we talk about the case of Aaron and Mary, Aaron and Gold, where they tried to do their best possible to see that they abort a pregnancy, right? To abort a pregnancy, which is illegal at that particular moment. The act that is unlawful is the abortion, and the one that is dangerous, introducing glycerin, Dettol, and salt into the vagina of the person that they intended to abort the pregnancy, and then that sank into her bloodstream, and then it caused her death. So you could see that what is the unlawful act there? The abortion. And what is the dangerous act there? The introduction of these chemical substances into the body of that particular person in question. And then we talk about this. So these three aspects, they summarize the elements, or perhaps the ingredients through which one can be held responsible to have caused the death of another person, all right, under the criminal code. And then we move on to talk about section 220 and section 222 of the penal code as well, that also provides for that particular section, for that particular murder, which is invariably called culpable homicide, punishable with death. Punishable with death in the northern part of Nigeria. And we know that we have the southern part of Nigeria and the northern part. And that reminds me again, and I'll say it, the harmonization of our laws is very important, because we need to bring this to the fore. What is murder in the south should be murder in the north as well, without any line of distinctions. So we talk about that, and then under section 220 of the penal code, it has brought in subsection 1 and 2 of section 316 together and talk about it conjunctively. Okay, the intention to kill or to cause grievous harm is provided for under that particular section 220 of the penal code. So in summary, what are we talking about today? We're talking about murder, and it's called murder in the south, and it's called culpable homicide punishable with death in the north. And the particular section is section 316 of the criminal code, and section 220 up to section 222 of the penal code. And then we know that murder is the intentional killing of another person that is not justifiable by law, is not excusable by law, neither is it permitted by law, neither is it authorized by law. Once you have killed somebody in a sane mind, that means for one to be held responsible to have caused the death of another person, you must have desired it, and you must have carried it in a way that is not authorized by law, it's not justified by law, and it's not excusable by law. Why do we need this? We need this because the protection and the safety of every human being is absolutely important, because life cannot be replaced. So it is the position of the law that the law has to come in to protect human beings under their watch, so that it will not be an instance where it will be survival of the fittest. The vulnerable must be protected. Everybody is equal before the law. The takeaway for us today is the fact that we have section 316, which is provided for murder in the south, and then we have section 222 and section 220 under the penal code. And then we have the intentions causing grievous bodily harm and doing an unlawful act in the prosecution of an unlawful purpose. All right, and then that of the penal code, it's the combination of subsection 1 and section 2 of the criminal code mounted together in section 220 of the penal code. So I think this is enough for now. Watch over tomorrow. We will talk about other similar cases, and then talk about manslaughter. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.